Hello again.
The device.
Hello again.
The device is still warm from her touch and heavy as a brick from the batteries inside. The company logo, Omicron, adorns its yellow plastic cover. Inside, the tape is rolling. The girl looks at the device in your hands. She looks you in the eye, her pupils wide, surrounded by a ridiculous amount. Nothing to emote over. You put the device back on the ice.
It's supposed to become... Except that... Yeah. Hello again.
The device is still warm from her touch and heavy as a brick. She looks you in the eye, her pupils wide, surrounded by a ridiculous amount of makeup. The wind howls. She remains silent. It's real. Tell her.
What is? I know. I'll stick to it.
Something changes between you two. She looks at you differently now. As an equal. A fellow human being.
So thanks, I guess, for the psych session. Maybe I can return it. What's been eating you, officer? Come on, I can tell. But, okay. Be a boyadero about it if you want to. What is it? Oh, really? Wow, social justice really matters that much to you? That's commendable. It really had you shaken up there. Are you sure that's it, though? No, it sounds like you just got chick issues. Well, think about... Anyway, was there something else?
You see that seagull up there? Remind you of anybody? Exactly. Think about the seagull's story. It's one of endurance and adaptation. The seaside was paradise once. They were birds of that paradise. Then their paradise became shit city. And what did they do? They became urban survivors, eating burgers out of trash cans, killing and eating pigeons. No time for that sentimental bullshit. They're hustlers, getting shit done. They're one pair of track pants away from gangsters, just like you. Sure, inside, but outside it's a tough world. You've got to do whatever it takes. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock. This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple screwed into the wooden door. The lock is adorned with a yellow sticker. The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. Two large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the wood before they reach the threshold. The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the touch. Nothing happens, only the sound of the padlock rattling against the door.
I don't think that's going to work. Do you think our suspect is hiding inside?
The lieutenant nods silently. You see a yellow circle with two X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but what the symbol depicts is clear enough. A smiling dead guy. The curve makes it smile, and the X's make it dead. There is something blindingly modern about this symbol. He takes off his glasses and uses a blue handkerchief to thoroughly wipe them clean before inspecting the sticker. Then...
No. Looks like a dead man smiling. Suggests junior delinquency. I haven't seen that sticker before, and I'm not a youth. That level of conceptual thinking is not part of my skill set.
The padlock passes through a staple that's been hastily attached to the wood. Closer inspection reveals that one of the screws is not a screw at all, but a nail. The work has been done recently and is unprofessional. Should you want to get through, it might be easier to just pry the whole thing off.
Maybe we should look for another way in first. How about we go and check out that tent again?
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn there's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's au revoir, sticker. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. You jam the pathetic old wood. Suddenly, the pry bar snaps. Metal shavings fly everywhere. The upper half, between the lock and the staple, falls to the ground with a thunk.
Tools break, officer. Try to control yourself. I don't know. You don't? Or maybe we'll find a new one. I thought this was a lousy way to enter a place of worship that's already in disrepair.
The padlock, should you want to get through, it might be easier to just pry the whole thing off. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height. This cheap-looking padlock is nothing.
I don't think that's going to work. Do you think our suspect is hiding inside?
The lieutenant nods. The carving on the door is block-like. The doors remain unchanged. You see there is something blindingly modern about this symbol. This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple screwed into the wooden door. There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Au revoir sticker. The padlock, should you want to get through, it might be easier to just pry the whole thing.
Maybe we should look for another way in first. How about we go and check out that tent again?
Hello again. It's supposed to become like a club, except that, yeah. You know, anodic, cathodic, music that's made with electronic instruments. Synthesizers and tape consoles, microcomputers too. Anything that uses electricity, but isn't guitars. Also found sounds, stuff like that.
You see clear, beautiful, violent flashes of light.
Go ahead.
Hi again. Have you changed your mind?
Yes. I asked Noy to install a measure against more drifters wandering in. It's a temporary fix, just something to contain the situation.
I had to do it in an hurry. Not my best work, but it should hold for a while.
Of course. Noid, give the officer the key.
Only if he promises to look into the spookers in the...
Officer, I apologise. Brilliant.
All right.
Noid watches you pick up the key with a smirk.
Not long. Like a week, maybe? I'm super
Somewhere in the ruinous past that led you here.
Okay, I'm sorry to...
Me too. I shouldn't have that.
Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. As always...
Hi again. So, how are things going?
As always...
Heavy wooden doors. The lock turns.
Let's go.
As you do, you hear the echo of the doomed commercial area. Its black halls and dusty machines. Then the feeling passes. A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum in the heart of the city. The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent. And then it's gone, almost all of it, but for the faintest of hums. You can hardly hear your own breathing. Your voice is barely audible. You produce a few muffled thumps after the lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything? The church just has strange acoustics, some engineering trick.
His detached tone conceals how. The lieutenant doesn't reply. The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely. It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward, yes, the dark. It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more substantial as it gets closer. The shape of an animal descends.
Officer, is there something up there?
Oh no, you've lost sight of it. You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it. The shadow is a man made of the same stuff as the carpentry of the building. He is studying you intently. The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be all right. You come to the right place.
That accent is Villalobos, a peninsula in Mesk and a district in Jamrock. There's a sizable contingent of Villalobos-speaking Mesks in Rivershaw.
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Oh yeah, sure. You don't know anything about alcohol use. You got it all under control, Way. I could smell the control all the way over here. Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc Albino is wreaking on your mind and your spirit.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Look at these crazies. What is this shit?
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes. This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
This Mother of Silence sounds like a serious player. You might want to be careful until you find out what you're dealing with.
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes? No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young.
Wait, what if it's Ruby?
Did it ever seem to you like she was hiding here from something?
You mean like a fugitive? No, man. Quite the opposite. I don't think she cared much about authority or anything else for that matter. Maybe only about her machines.
I see. And where is she now?
I told you, Holmes. I don't know. You just have to wait until she comes back, or
search through her radio computer.
Sure did, Holmes. I am, at least in part, Holmes. Until the mother's love burns away the cruel distinctions of the body. A boyadero? No, Holmes. I don't go in for that kind of thing. It's all about surrendering to the mother now. Glad you're feeling more comfortable. First-timers are always nervous.
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Think they scared of me. Wouldn't bother me none to have them spin music in here. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Might even be nice to have some company.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. A way out into nothingness. This church was built around it, for purposes of veneration. I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly. Oh, that's no simple question, Ese. She is one who can be painted or sculpted. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me. But I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes.
His adoration is beyond sexual. This cavity is something that no human form has. The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams.
The ones in the tent outside, right? I see them. Think they scared of me. Absolutely, man. Wouldn't bother me none to have, might even be.
He said that in spite of himself.
Yes?
A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity.
A radio computer. And it's turned on. We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case.
In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad, a dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold. There you kneel among the snowdrifts. The world is silent, but for the creaks and cracks of the massive wooden structure behind you. It covers you from the wind outside. The ocean feels distant, its ebb and flow blocked off by the centuries-old pinewood sarcophagus around you. In the darkness, you sense her eyes on you, inspecting you with their multicolored glass, as if you're a bug under a microscope. The woman looks down at you kneeling. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. There is a sad smile on her lips and a glint in her green-blue eye of what? Compassion? Remorse? She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive. You. As that soft word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder. Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass.
The old woman in the village was right. This must be the DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez, or the small Pinewood Church in some records. It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's founding, 300 or so years ago, by first-generation settlers.
On the coast of an uninhabited archipelago, where only
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Sept Sœurs, they call them, the 7 sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the revolution or used for building materials. We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find the instigator here. Something else, perhaps?
Respectful? Is the lieutenant a follower of DeLoreanism? A pang of guilt? The lieutenant is leaving something out. Cold air seeps in through the crack in the glass. Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is Her Innocence, Dolores Day. The innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps the most famous human being ever to have lived. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men. Many things. You know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene La Navigateur, Queen of Suresnes, modern-day Sir La Clé. Also that she was gorgeous beyond beauty. Draped in ancient sadness, are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? Standing under a long, slender form like this, dwarfed? The past. It's a silo of sadness, fermenting. You should keep away. No, you must know. Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess. sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A simple grasp in matters of philosophy, theology, and science was encouraged. She was, by all means, a kept woman. She made the most of her position in the antediluvian court, a court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was becoming the era's preeminent philosopher of the state. A scalpel, a piercing gaze. She was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heels. Even before she was declared an innocence, her influence was tremendous. It was on her advice that Irene Le Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. A costly, often tragic endeavor, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new world, the piece of reality you're standing on. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the greatest era in history. The DeLorean era. Wow, indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing in her chest. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Riel Belt. "300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi, she is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel and the connected world. But she was not hell. She is the opposite of that, the wind of paradise, stripping away the covers from the hearts of men. There you stand, below her once more, with your hands on your side. A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you, a ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one, and a text, a light motif below them both. Unknown. The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden Reichsapfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen her innocence day advised. Above, she herself is whole. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, 30 years, stand in a row guarding her. It must have taken years to produce this work in all its dizzying detail. Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau. And then along the left side, Après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, le monde de nouveau. After life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the Pale. After the Pale, the world again. This is the great leitmotif of humanism, a summary of the effect of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, on human thinking. A tremendous sea change akin to finding life after death.
Death, life again. After the world, the Pale. After the Pale, the world again. This exaltation is common in DeLorean sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more justice, union, prudence, and force. So do I.
The mother of humanism towers above you, a wax painting on a cracked pane of glass.
Hello again. My associates? I haven't got much to say about them. Of course I do. I just don't tell people about my friends and who they are and so on. I don't provide information on them. Don't know what makes you think it'll be any different later, but...
Hi again. So, how things...
And? What happened? Oh man, the crab man you mean? Who is he? What did you think? Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church?
No matter. Is he gonna be a problem?
Yeah, Noid is right. Let's get back to the point. What are we gonna do about him?
These guys will never catch him. You will never catch him. There's nothing to do.
I don't know, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice, friendly hyper time?
I guess it's not a massive problem, now that I think of it.
Everyone is welcome to dance till the morning light! Yeah!
Maybe. I guess we'll figure something out. Okay, but what about the other spooker? The one in Grandma's clothes? Did you see? But she's in there somewhere. Has to be. Have you tried investigating the machines? Anyway, do let us know if you see her. As always, we'll be right here.
Hello again. It's except that Yeah. You know, a Nodic. What do you need to know? Go ahead.